Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Bookmas Day 8. Today I'm gonna kind of do my most anticipated reads for 2025. I've picked 25 books. I was gonna do like 25 books I want to read in 2025, but this is also like my anticipated read basically. So some of them are new releases coming out in 2025, and some of them are just books that have been on my TBR for a long time that I want to make like a priority to read in the new year. So first I'm going to do the new releases and talk about those. I have my computer because I had to like make a list of everything. First is Emily Henry. These aren't in any particular order, by the way. These are just like how I remembered them. So the first one is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This comes out in April 22nd, 2025. And I read anything Emily Henry puts out. This one is about Alice Scott, who is dreaming of her big writing break. And the male main character, Hayden Anderson, is a Pulitzer Prize winner. And they're both on this island for the same reason, to write a biography of a woman that no one has seen in years. They're each given different pieces of the story, so it kind of, I guess, makes them have to work together. But again, like I said, it's Emily Henry, so it could be about anything, and I would still read it. Next is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and this one, when she was doing press for her last book, Just for the Summer, she had said that when she released the title of this one, she said it was inspired by Taylor Swift's Wildest Dreams, the lyric Say You'll Remember Me. I'm gonna be really bad at describing all of these books with the summary, even though I have it right in front of me. I'm trying not to read it word for word, but basically they just had like an incredible date together, and she's like, we can't do this, you need to forget about it. But it was so amazing that they always are gonna remember it. And that one comes out April 1st, 2025. The next one is Fearless. This is the last book in the Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts, also coming out April 1st. And I can't really say too much about this one because it's the third book in a series, but basically the main character, Peyton, has to make a life-altering choice. So, and on the back, in the synopsis it says, in the ultimate battle of love and loyalty, who wins? I feel like that's enough to say what that one is. But I'm super excited for that one. The next one is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. This is the third book. This is the third book in the Fourth Wing series by Rebecca Yarros. And again, it's a third book in a series, so I can't say too much about the summary, but basically, it says obviously it's going to follow the events that happened in the second book. So, and that one's January 21st, so that one's really soon. The next one is Wild and Wrangled, which is the fourth book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and this whole series is small town romance, and it's about past lovers getting a second chance. So basically second chance. But the main character, her fiance ditches her, doesn't show up to the wedding, so she kind of has to like reevaluate, and there's this other guy that obviously that she dated in the past, who is still in love with her. So that's where the second chance comes in, and that one comes out April 15th. Next one is Deep End by Allie Hazelwood, and this one sounds like more like Not in Love, even though Not in Love was part of her STEM romance, I think, but this one isn't STEM at all. It's about a competitive diver and an ace swimmer, and it says it's a steamy college romance, so I imagine it's more like the romance in Not in Love, where it's kind of like erotic, probably. But again, I'll read anything Allie Hazelwood puts out, so. And that one comes out February 4th. Next is Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is the second book in the Crimson Moth duology. And the series is about a witch and a witch hunter who are who become like enemies to lovers and then like enemies again. It's amazing. And that one comes out February 18th. Next is Hannah Bonham Young. She has called Out of the Woods. It's about high school sweethearts who have always like, you know, it's obvious that they are like perfect together and that they should be together, but then Sarah begins to wonder like who she is without her other half. So I guess she's trying to do something on her own and it doesn't go very well. So her partner has to step in and save the day. So I think they're just trying to like separate themselves and find themselves outside of that relationship. And they have to, in the end, I think they end up like trying to like save like whatever's left of the relationship, like get back to where they were. And that one comes out January 28th. Next one is Annabelle Monaghan's It's a Love Story. I love all of her summer romances. This one is about a former adolescent TV punchline who has left her awkwardness in the rear view mirror thanks to a fake it till you make it mantra that has her on the cusp of success until she tells us a lie that sets her on a crash course with her past, spending a week in Long Island with the last man she thinks might make her believe in love. So like I said, I love Annabelle Monaghan's books. They are usually a little bit older romances, like the women are usually like already have kids or going through a divorce, but they're still so relatable, and her quotes and writing is just amazing. And this one comes out May 27th. Next is Sunrise on the Reaping, which is a Hunger Games novel about Haymitch. It's his story and about the Quarter Quell. So basically his Hunger Games story, which I'm super excited. And I'm super excited for the movie. Now the book comes out March 18th. Next is Wild Side by Elsie Silver. This is the third book in the Rose Hill series. But this series, if you didn't know, by Elsie Silver is, they're all single parent tropes. Every single book, there's some sort of single parent situation. So in this one, the main character has to marry her enemy to save her nephew's guardianship. So basically enemies to lovers, and that comes out, and fake marriage. So that one's March 4th. And then the last new release that I have on here, there's gonna be more, but this is like what's on my radar, is Sarah Adams' new book, Beg, Borrow, or Steal. And this is about one of the sisters from Practice Makes Perfect and When in Rome. It's about two feuding second grade teachers and neighbors who find themselves teaming up in this rivals to lovers romance. Emily Walker, hates having her carefully crafted world disrupted by anyone, especially her nemesis, Jack Bennett. He's the opposite of the wonderful heroes she dreams of in her double life as a romance writer, which is why Emily was perfectly happy when Jack left Rome, Kentucky, with his fiance. And the last thing Emily saw coming was his return at the start of the summer, calling off the wedding and ending his relationship. But he's here to stay as her colleague and her neighbor. So, another little enemies, rivals to lovers, and that one comes out January 7th. So, those are all the new releases coming out, and now I'm going to go through all the ones that are on my physical TBR that I want to make a priority because they've been on here for so long. And some of them are kind of newer to my collection, but anyway. The first one is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This has been on my TBR a couple of times, and I feel like I would really like it. I think it's like, people have described it as like a Bridgerton fantasy, like the era of that one, but basically the girl, the main character Theodora, was cursed by a fairy where she like has no sense of fear or embarrassment, which I think is very interesting. So I want to get to that one. Next is Scythe by Neil Schusterman. I feel like this is like the epitome of 2014 dystopian fantasy. I've read his other books, The Schwa Was Here and Unwind. I read those in middle school, but I feel like this is like a really popular one too. and it's also part of a series, and I don't know, I've had it for a while and I want to get into this one. And I feel like because it's a YA dystopian fantasy, I love those type of books, so I feel like it'll be easy to get into, hopefully. Next is Coco Meller's new release, Blue Sisters. This one is about these 3 sisters who have to reunite in their hometown after the loss of one of their other sisters. I don't know which one it is. I didn't like her other book, Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I just didn't like the romance in that one or just the plot, but I feel like because this one's more about like the sisters and like relationship and grief and just like life in general, I feel like I'll enjoy it more. So I have that one. I feel like if I don't put it in like the top 25 books I want to read in 2025, then I won't get to it, so I'm going to make it a priority. Next is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This one is a YA mystery about 5 students who go into detention and one of them doesn't make it out alive. So basically they're just trying to figure out like who did it and why they did it. So, and it's also a series on Peacock, so I want to be able to read the series so I can watch the show. And then I have the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare. This is the 3rd book in the series. Basically, I picked this one because I've read the first 2 in the series, and I know there's like a specific reading order that you have to read them in, where you go back between the series. Like you don't read like one whole series together and then the next one, like you go back and forth. So I need to figure that out first, but this is the next one that I have in the series, and I also have the first book in the other 2 series. But my goal was mainly just to get back into the Cassandra Clare world. Next is a memoir, I believe. I think this is a memoir by David Sheff. This is about a father dealing with his son's addiction and their story. And this is the movie cover. Obviously you can tell with Steve Carell and Timothy Chalamet. I want to read this so I can watch the movie too. That's mainly why. And I just wanted to add something different than like my normal regular romance or fantasy. I want to branch out of my usual genres and read new things, so that's why I wanted to put this one on here. Then I have One Day by David Nichols. This one I've been wanting to read for a while, to also watch the Netflix show. I just feel like every time I look at it, there's no chapters. I don't think there's any. The chapters are really long, and I think that's part of what makes me not want to pick it up. But I think I'll enjoy like the relationship in this. Then I have Matthew Perry's memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. This one I got last Christmas and I have started it, and I was listening to the audio version because he narrates it. I probably think that's how I'll read it anyway, but I do want to get to this one because I've been reading, again, like I said, I want to read more memoirs and just biographies, like regular, like, and classics. I just want to branch out my genres, basically. And I love Matthew Perry and Friends, so it is harder to read it now that he's gone, unfortunately, but I do want to finish this one. This year I started my Throne of Glass reread, so I want to continue rereading it. I'm kind of like slowly going through it. So I read all the way up until Heir of Fire this year. So Queen of Shadows is next, and I feel like this is where it really gets crazy. And starting after Heir of Fire, I do want to continue rereading the series and at least get to like maybe like read one at least, because what comes after this one is a tandem read, and it's not how I originally read them, because I read them as they were coming out, so I had to wait a year in between books and read Tower of Dawn all by itself. So I don't know how I'm going to read those, or if I'll just skip it altogether, because I do know that I did not enjoy Tower of Dawn. I want to continue Frederick Bachman's Beartown series, and this is the second book called Us Against You. I specifically want to read this one more in the winter time. I have a lot on my TBR for December, so probably not this month, but at least in like January, February, I want to finish this series just because it takes place in Sweden and it's very snowy and it's about ice hockey, so I think winter is like the best time to read these. I also discovered Kristen Hanna this year, and I want to read all of her books. So this one is The Women. This is her newest release, and this is like a special edition that I found at Target yesterday. So I was gonna wait until it came out in paperback, but I was like, I'll get the special edition. So this one is about women being nurses in the Vietnam War and going over there and how it was like looked down upon. Obviously the whole war was. Kristen Hanna's writing is just amazing. I can't say enough about it, so I want to read this one. And another book I want to reread is One Dark Window, because when I read this, I have both of them. It's a duology. I want to reread both of them, but mainly just at least get to this one, because when I read this, I feel like I would enjoy it, like what it's about. It's like a gothic dark fantasy, and I think I just didn't pay enough attention when I was reading it, because every time I hear someone talk about it or hear the summary of it again, I'm like, why didn't I like this? I think I just wasn't paying attention when I read it because I was in a slump or something. So I want to reread it and see if my mind will change reading it, and then if I do enjoy it the second time around, then reread the second one. I just want to give it another chance. And then lastly, I recently saw the Wicked movie, so I'm obsessed with it. And I want to try and read the first one this month, in addition to like all the other books I want to read this month. I feel like I'll probably be able to get through this one faster because I know what's going to happen. So I do want to try to read that one this year. But basically just this whole series I want to read in 2025. So this is the rest of the series. Son of a Witch, A Lion Among Men, and Out of Oz. So that I basically just want to read Wicked / the rest of the series in 2025. Those are all of the anticipated reads that I have for 2025, the top 25 books I want to read. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys have any anticipated reads or any new releases that you're looking forward to in 2025, leave those in the comments. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next Bookmas video. Bye!